Good morning, everyone. My name is Todd, and I'll be presenting about my own research from the Department of Chemical Materials Engineering at the University of Auckland. What I'll be talking about is a thing called subcritical water extraction. It's a brand new extraction technology, and my focus is on extracting things like antioxidants and medicinal compounds from food and plant waste in New Zealand. So, there's no one quick fix for saving the environment. As much as we'd like that, we have to be economically realistic. But the thing is, some of the most important technologies in the world that we can use to save the environment are also some of the most overlooked. And extraction is one of these. Now, it's not exactly headline grabbing or a sexy thing, but extraction is one of the most important industrial processes in the world. Now, when we're talking about extraction, the compound I'm looking at is antioxidants. Now, they're an important medicinal compound which we're only sort of just starting to realise could have massive benefits for the health of our population. And the technology I'll be discussing is subcritical water extraction. This is a brand new technology and essentially uses high pressure hot water as a solvent for extraction. So what is extraction? Well, it's one of the most fundamental technologies. It's been used for thousands of years, from anything from making a cup of tea to extracting out valuable dairy compounds in our dairy processing plants from Fonterra. Extraction essentially uses a solvent to separate out a desired material or get rid of an undesired material. But the problem is, extraction uses organic solvents almost exclusively in the modern world. Now, the problem with these organic solvents is they're toxic, almost always. They're very environmentally unfriendly. They're also often costly and unselective. So they're really not what we want to be using, but unfortunately, they're almost universally used. What's more, for products intended for human consumption, things like food and medicinal compounds, they're completely unsuitable. Consumers don't want to be engaged in compounds which are potentially toxic, environmentally unfriendly. And we also have to spend a huge amount of money making sure that there's no residue from these solvents. Now let's look at antioxidants. What are they? They're polyphenolic compounds found in almost all plant matter. They're polar and they're water soluble, but more than that, they're compounds which we're beginning to see have significant health benefits. Antioxidants work in the body to take up oxygen-free radicals, to catalyze organic reactions within our bodies. And we're beginning to see that antioxidants in our diet can potentially help preventing degenerative diseases like cancers, neurodegenerative diseases, even heart disease. When we think of things like a glass of red wine a day, Mediterranean diets that you maybe see on the news, this is what they're talking about. So they're potentially extremely important class of compounds for the 21st century. Now, this is what I'm researching. It's a thing called subcritical water extraction. What we do is we use high pressure water, so between 100 and 370 degrees, and that's our solvent for extraction, instead of things like methanol, instead of acetone. So extraction, scientifically how it's working at the chemical level, is it's based on the polarities of the solvent and the solute. The solvent is physically reacting with the solute based on its polarity and extracting it out from its phase. So the thing with subcritical water extraction is that because of the density changes with this high pressure hot water, simply by changing the temperature of the water, we can change its polarity. So what this means is that all I have to do is change the temperature of the reactor, I can change that water's polarity, and I can extract out different compounds. So what this means is we can look at, for example, specific antioxidants from plants, put it into the reactor, adjust the temperature, and extract out only the compounds that we need, using only water. Now, as I've mentioned, this is a new technology. Commercially, it doesn't yet exist, but as I'll discuss that further. So, as I've alluded to, antioxidants, the chemicals that we're interested in, the valuable medicinal compounds, are polar, so they can be extracted by water. And using subcritical water extraction, we can selectively pick out and extract the particular compounds we need using this technology. Research also suggests it's faster, more efficient, and cheaper to do than using our toxic conventional solvents. So the water itself is free, or at least cheap. The feedstock, this is the key aspect. The feedstock can be any plant matter. So this could be food waste, agricultural waste, horticultural waste. Myself, I'm looking at vineyard waste and kiwi fruit waste. Low operating costs. The capital expense is comparable to normal methods. So it's not like we'd be spending anything more to use this much better new technology. And of course, the revenue from antioxidants that we extract could be enormous because of the sheer value of these compounds to our health and to our economy. So I believe that subcritical water extraction is the next step in extraction technology, both in New Zealand and around the world. Our current methods are bad for the environment and bad for people, whereas this is completely safe, cheap, and completely selective. We have a huge amount of feedstock and some very valuable compounds that we can extract. So it's clear that this technology, it's a real technological advancement that can directly reduce harmful chemical use and incrementally help our health and help our environment. Thank you for listening.